Hey, shalom to everybody. This is Nehemiah Ben Israel again, and today we're going to be talking about the clean and unclean laws. We just got a lot of script just concerning it to go over with you all now, and just to show you the importance of these clean and unclean laws right here. In the first place, we're going to go over today is Leviticus 11 and in the whole chapter for this. And it reads, and Yah spoke to Moshe and to Aharon, saying to them, speak to the children of Israel, saying, these are the living creatures which you do eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whatever has a split hoof, completely divided, chewing the cud among the beasts that you do eat. Only these you do not eat among those that chew the cud or those that have a split hoof. The camel, because it chews the cud, but does not have a split hoof, it is unclean to you. And the rabbit, because it chews the cud, but does not have a split hoof, it is unclean to you. And the hare, because it chews the cud, but does not have a split hoof, it is unclean to you. And the pig, though it has a split hoof, completely divided, yet does not chew the cud, it is unclean to you. Their flesh you do not eat, and their carcasses you do not touch. They are unclean to you. These you do eat of all that are in the waters. Anyone that has fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, or in the rivers, that you do eat. But all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, all that move in the waters, or any living being which is in the waters, they are an abomination to you. They are an abomination to you. Of their flesh you do not eat, and their carcasses you abominate. All that have not fins or scales in the waters are an abomination to you. And these you do abominate among the birds. They are not eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle and the vulture, and the black vulture, and the hog, and the falcon after its kind, every raven after its kind, and the ostrich, and the nighthawk, and the seagull, and the hawk after its kind, and the little owl, and the fisher owl, and the great owl, and the white owl, and the pelican, and the carrion vulture, and the stork, the heron after its kind, in the hoofo, and the bat, all flying insects that creep creep on all fours is an abomination to you. Only these you do eat of every flying insect that creeps on all fours, those which have jointed legs above their feet, with which to leap on the earth. These of them you do eat. The apic, the apic, the arbor locust after its kind, the arbor locust after its kind, and the slim locust, salam locust after its kind, and the har, harga locust after its kind, and the haggard locust after its kind. But all other flying insects which have 4 feet are an abomination to you, and by these you are made unclean. Anyone touching the carcass of any of them is unclean until evening, and anyone picking up part of the carcass of any of them has to wash his garment and shall be unclean until evening. Every beast that has a split hoof, not completely divided, or does not chew the cud, is unclean to you. Anyone who touches their carcass is unclean, and whatever goes on its paws among all the creatures that go on all fours, those are unclean to you. Anyone who touches their carcass is unclean until evening. And he who picks up their carcass has to wash his garments and shall be unclean until evening. They are unclean to you, and these are unclean to you among the creeping creatures that creep on the earth, the mole and the mouse and the tortoise after its kind, and the gizmo and the land crocodile and the sand reptile and the sand lizard and the chamberlain. These are unclean to you among all that creep. Everyone who touches them when they are dead becomes unclean until evening. And whatever any of them in its dead state falls upon becomes unclean. Rather, it is any wooden object or garment or skin or sack, any object in which work is done, it is put in water, and it shall be unclean until evening. Then it shall be clean. Any earthen vessel, until when any of them falls, whatever is in it becomes unclean, and you break it. Any of the food which might be eaten on which water comes becomes unclean, and any drink which might be drunk from it becomes unclean. And on whatever any of their carcass falls becomes unclean. In oven or cooking range, it is broken down. They are unclean and are unclean to you. But a fountain or a well, a collection of water, is clean. But whatever touches their carcass is unclean. And when any of their carcass falls on any planting seed which is to be shown, it is clean. But when any water is put on the seed, and any part or any such carcass falls on it, it is unclean to you. And when any of the beasts which are yours for food dies, he who touches its carcass becomes unclean until evening. And he who eats of its carcass has to wash his garment, and shall be unclean until evening. And he who picks up its carcass has to wash his garment, and shall be unclean until evening. And every swarming creature, the one that swarms on the earth, is an abomination. It is not easy. Whatever crawls on its stomach, or whatever goes on all fours, and whatever has many feet among all swarming creatures, the ones swarming on the earth, these you do not eat, for they are an abomination. Do not make yourselves abominable with any sworn creature, the one sworn, and do not make yourselves unclean with them, lest you be defiled by them. For I am Yah, your Elohim, and you shall set yourselves apart, and you shall be set apart, for I am set apart. And do not defile yourselves with any sworn creature, the one creeping on the earth, for I am Yah, who is bringing you up out of the land of Mizraim, to be your Elohim, and you shall be set apart. And you shall be set apart, for I am set apart. And do not defile yourself with any sworn creature, that the one creeping on the earth. For I am Yah, who is bringing you up out of the land of Mizraim, to be your Elohim, for you shall be set apart, for I am set apart. This is the Torah of the beasts and the birds and every living being, the creeping creature in the waters, and of every being that swarms on the earth, to distinction, make a distinction between the unclean and the clean, and between the living creature that is eaten and the living creature that is not eaten. Hallelujah. Let's talk about this for a minute. So, it describes the foods that we are not to eat right here. And when we eat these foods or even touch these animals right here that are unclean, we are unclean until the evening. And we gotta wash ourselves though. We want to make sure we wash ourselves before the sun goes down, so you can be clean before the sun goes down. Be clean in the evening time now. When the evening comes, then you shall be clean. So you have to wash yourself. These are laws telling you right here you're not supposed to be eating these animals. And then there's animals where you can eat. You know, also the thing that to show you how serious this is that if anything dead falls on, that becomes unclean too. So like if it's any earthen vessel, you have to break that down now. You have to break and throw that away now. Right there is what this is saying now. You can't keep that because if any of the carcass falls on it now, anything that's like dead now, falls on it, that is unclean now. And then even with the oven or cooking range now, it is broken down. Now the oven here, and it's did not like the oven like today, because it gotta be different now, because it can't be just like the oven today, because they ain't know how can you break it down. So it gotta be different now. I can only imagine how the oven back then looked like. Cause I don't really know. I don't really look. I'm not really for sure. But yeah, these are serious right here now. And this stuff you gotta break some of this stuff down right here. But yeah, you are when you are eating unclean, eating these animals that are unclean, you are sinning against the Most High Yah. That is an abomination to the Most High Yah. And we are unclean when we do that. So every time you eat it, now you are unclean now. And it's just unfortunate that people don't want to eat right. These a lot of most of this world don't even want to eat right today, or even try to eat right. And that's the thing that's kind of sad. But this is when I go to Isaiah 66, that is gonna be the Most High Yah is gonna judge those. And he's gonna judge those that continue to eat these unclean things. He's gonna judge. That's gonna be like one of the first things he judged. If you read Isaiah 66, that's something I would go to later on in this video. Yeah. But the next place is Leviticus chapter 12. And it reads, and Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel, saying, when a woman has conceived and has given birth to a male child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. As in the days of her monthly separation, she is unclean. And on the 8th day, the flesh of her foreskin, of his foreskin is circumcised, of his. And she remains in the blood of her cleansing 33 days. She does not touch whatever is set apart, and she does not come into the set apart place until the days of her cleansing are complete. But if she gives birth to a female child, then she shall be unclean for 2 weeks, as in her monthly separation, and she remains in the blood of her cleansing for 66 days. And when the days of her cleansing are completed, for a son or for a daughter, she brings to the priest a lamb a year old as a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove as a sin offering to the door of the tent of appointment. And he shall bring it before Yah and make atonement for her, and she shall be cleansed from the flow of her blood. This is the Torah for her who has given birth to a male or a female. And if she is not able to bring a lamb, then she shall bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, one as a burnt offering and the other as a sin offering. And the priest shall make atonement for her, and she shall be clean. Hallelujah. So this is the laws right here for a woman when she is pregnant, rather be a male or female child. This right here, this is what and a lot of the women don't notice them. Don't notice law that when you are pregnant, rather be a male or female, you are unclean. I know that's maybe unfortunate for you now, but that is the law. For a male child, she is she is unclean for 7 days. Now, and also on the 8th day, he's supposed to be circumcised. So right here now. So this is for all the males. So just all male, all the male child, they supposed to be circumcised on the 8th day when as a baby. That's the law for all the males. And that can, those who know about circumcising, that is actually painful right there. I praise God that I didn't know what it felt like though, because I was a baby, because I don't even remember it though. So I praise God for that though. But in it tells you right here that for the woman, she's supposed to remain in the blood of her cleansing 33 days. She's not supposed to touch whatever is set apart for holy though in the English though. And she does not come into the set apart place. So she's not even supposed to even come to a place to worship now if she is unclean. But nobody's supposed to now. It's not just the woman. That's for everybody. Everybody that that's supposed to be in the place now. You're not supposed to be in the set apart place or holy now. You're not supposed to come now into that place. But we're not being taught this right here, unfortunately. Now. We're being taught to go to the church now, to go to church every Sunday now. But yet, we're not taught to be clean. We just go to church and not come any old kind of way. And that is just not acceptable to the Most High God. Think about that for a minute. How is it if you really think that the Most High God is pleased with that, and he is dealing with these people? They tell you to go to church every Sunday, and they do whatever they do. Now. But you come in any kind of way, whatever coming in any kind of way that is just not pleasing to the Most High God. When they tell you that you can come any kind of way, and they supposed to call something holy, that right there is just incorrect. Though. Yeah, that is just a lack of understanding because they ain't got nothing at that point. Because it tell you not to even, she's not even supposed to touch what is holy now or set apart. Talking about being in a place of worship now. That's supposed to be a place where you're supposed to be clean. And that's for everybody. Now. So yeah. But yeah, she remains in the blood of her cleansing 33 days. So, and being for a female child, it's 66 days, though, because that she remains in the blood for cleansing. And then for a female child, she is unclean for 2 weeks, so which is 14 days. So these are the laws for a woman when she is pregnant, whether it be a male or female child. And for males, to be circumcised at 8 on the 8th day of when they were born. 8th day right after they're born. All right, so yeah, just clear up with this understanding. And also with the last verse about bringing in, not able to bring a lamb, then she shall bring 2 turtle doves. Unfortunately, we're not in our land, so some of these things we're not able to do that because we're not in our land. But that law does still stand about the woman being unclean when she is pregnant, and the man being and the male child being circumcised on the eighth day. That law, those laws still stand, even though she may not be able to do the two, bring the two turtle doves or two young pigeons. May not be able to do that today because we're not in the land. But these other things, that still stands right there. You gotta go by that according to the Torah beyond. Now, if we go to Leviticus 13 and read the whole chapter, and it reads, "And Yah spoke to Moshe and to Aharon, saying, When a man has on the skin of his body a swelling, a scab, or a bright spot, and it shall become on the skin of his body like a leper's affection, then he shall be brought to Aharon the priest, or to one of his sons the priest. And the priest shall look at the infection on the skin of the body, and if the hair on the infection has turned white, and the infection appears to be deeper than the skin of his body, it is a leprous affection, and the priest shall look at him and pronounce him unclean. But if the bright spot is white on the skin of his body, and does not appear to be darker than the skin, and his hair has not turned white, then the priest shall shut up the affected one 7 days. And the priest shall look at him on the seventh day and see if the infection appears to be as it was, and the infection has not spread on the skin, then the priest shall shut him up another 7 days. And the priest shall look at him again on the seventh day and see if the infection has darkened and the infection has not spread on the skin. Then the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is a scab, and he shall wash his garments and be clean. But if the scab spreads further over the skin after he has been seen by the priest for his cleansing, he shall be seen by the priest again. And the priest shall look and see if the scab has spread on the skin. And then the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is leprosy. Excuse me. Then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. My bad. Back then. It is leprosy. When the infection of leprosy is on a man, then he shall be brought to the priest. And the priest shall look and see if the swelling on the skin is white, and it has turned the hair white, and there is a spot of raw flesh in the swelling. It is an old leprosy on the skin of his body, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean. He does not shut him up, for he is unclean. And if the leprosy breaks out all over the skin, and the leprosy shall cover all the skin of the infected one, from his head to his foot, whatever the priest looks, then the priest shall look and see if the leprosy has covered all his body. He shall pronounce the infected one clean. It has all turned white. He is clean. But the day raw flesh appears on him, he is unclean. And the priest shall look at the raw flesh and pronounce him to be unclean. The raw flesh is unclean. It is leprosy. Or when the raw flesh changes and turns white again, he shall come to the priest, and the priest shall look at him and see if the infection has turned white. Then the priest shall pronounce the affected one clean. He is clean. And when the body has a boil in the skin and it is healed, and in the place of the boil there comes a white swelling or a bright spot, red is white, then it shall be seen by the priest. And the priest shall look and see if it appears deeper than the skin, and his hair has turned white. The priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous infection which has broken out of the boy. But if the priest looks at it and sees no white hairs in it, and it is not deeper than the skin, but has faded, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days. And if it has spread further over the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous infection. But if the bright spot stays in its place, it has not spread. It is the scar of the boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. Or when the body receives a burn on its skin by fire, and the raw flesh of the burn shall become a bright spot, reddish white or white, and the priest shall look at it and see if the hair of the bright spot has turned white, and it appears deeper than the skin, it is leprosy broken out in the burn, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous infection. But if the priest looks at it and sees there are no white hairs in the bright spot, and it is not deeper than the skin, but has faded, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days. And the priest shall look at him on the 7th day. If it spreads further over the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous infection. But if the bright spot stays in its place and has not spread on the skin, but has faded, it is a swelling from the burn, and the priest shall pronounce him clean, for it is the scar from the burn. And when a man or a woman has an infection on the head or in the beard, then the priest shall look at the infection and see if it appears deeper than the skin, and there is thin yellow hair in it, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is an eruption, a leprosy of the head or beard. But when the priest looks at the infection of the eruption and sees that it does not appear deeper than the skin, and there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall shut up the one with the infection of the eruption 7 days. And on the 7th day, the priest shall look at the infection and see if the eruption has not spread, and there is no yellow hair in it, and the eruption does not appear deeper than the skin. Then he shall shave himself, but the eruption he does not shave. And the priest shall shut up the one with the eruption another 7 days. And on the 7th day, the priest shall look at the eruption and see If the eruption has not spread over the skin and does not appear deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean, and he shall wash his garments, and he shall be clean. As the eruption spreads further over the skin after his cleansing, then the priest shall look at him and see if the eruption has spread over the skin. The priest need not seek for yellow hair. He is unclean. But if the eruption appears to have stayed and there is black hair grown up in it, the eruption has healed. He is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. And when a man or a woman has bright spots on the skin of the body, white bright spot, then the priest shall look and see if the bright spots on the skin of the body are dull white. It is a white spot that grows on the skin. He is clean. And when a man loses the hair of his head, he is bald. He is clean. And if the hair has fallen from his forehead, he is bald on the forehead. He is clean. And when there is on the bald head a bald forehead, a reddish white infection, it is leprosy breaking out on his bald head or his bald forehead. And the priest shall look at it and see if the swelling of the infection is reddish white on his bald head or on his bald forehead, as the appearance of leprosy on the skin of the body. He is a leprous man. He is unclean. The priest shall pronounce him unclean without fail. His infection is on his head. As for the leper who has the infection, his garments are torn, and his head is uncovered, and he has to cover his upper lip and cry, unclean, unclean. He is unclean all the days he has the infection. He is unclean. He is unclean, and he dwells alone. His dwelling place is outside the camp. And when a garment has an infection of leprosy in it, in a woolen garment, or in a linen garment, or in the woof, or in the weft of linen, or wool, or leather, or in any leather work, and the infection shall be greenish or reddish in the garment, or in the leather, or in the weft, or the wrap, or in the weft, or in any leather object, is an infection of leprosy, and shall be shown to the priest. And the priest shall look at the infection and shut up the affected 7 days. And he shall look at the infection on the 7th day. And when the infection has spread in the garment, or in the or in the wrath, or in the weft, or in the leather, or any leather work, their affection is an act of leprosy. It is unclean. And he shall burn that garment, or the wrath, or the weft, in wool, or in linen, or any leather object in which the infection is, for it is an active leprosy. It is burned with fire. But if the priest looks and sees that the infection has not spread in the garment, or in the wrap, or in the weft, or in any leather object, then the priest shall give command, and they shall wash that in which the infection is, and he shall shut it up another 7 days. And the priest shall look at the infection after it has been washed, and see if the infection has not change its appearance. Though the infection has not spread, it is unclean, and burn it in the fire. It is eaten away. It is inside or outside. And the priest shall look and see that the infection has faded after washing it. Then he shall tear it out of the garment, or out of the wet, or out of the wrap, or out of the wet, or out of the left. And if it is sinking, if it is still sinking in the garment, or in the wrap, or in the wet, or in any left object, it is a spreading infection. Burn it with fire. That in which the infection is. And if you wash the garment, or the wrap, or the wet, or any leather object, if the infection has disappeared from it, then it shall be washed a second time. It shall be clean. This is the Torah of the infection of leprosy in a garment, or wool, or linen, or in the wrap, or in the wet, or in any leather object, to pronounce it clean, or to pronounce it unclean. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, this is serious right here. This is a lot for we need to know this stuff. So if this ever happens to, if a man ever has this kind, has any kind of leprous infection, no, he is unclean. No, the 7 days. So, and if it has not if it has not done what it needs to do, if it has not spread, or depending on what instance it is, he is going to be unclean another 7 days. So if it has not done what it needs to be done. You see, tell you though, in verse 46, that he's not even supposed to be in the camp though, if he has this stuff, have any of these infections. Now it's important that we know these things now, because if anybody ever has it, if any man ever has this kind, he needs to know about this stuff. Now, unfortunately, today we don't know who the priests are. Today, unfortunately, we don't already know who the priests are. But this does still stand about us being unclean if this was to ever happen. If any of these things was happening, that right there does stand right there. And what you have heard me read proves right here that this is definitely about us, though. That's what they say, black people. This is definitely, the Bible is definitely about us black right here, because this right here proves it. Because of the leopard's affection turning, and the hair turning white and all. That right there is proof right there. Why would it have to turn white if it was already white? Come on now. It's got to be about us. So it's definitely this Bible is definitely about us. Now we are to definitely be a light to them and teach them. Yes, that's what we're supposed to do. Absolutely. That's what God commands us, to be a light to the heathens or Gentiles. Yeah, this, and then in verse 33, it said he even has, he even say, then he shall shave himself, but the eruption he does not shave. So there's the instant right there in this case where he does shave them. But you're not supposed to, like, but like in a normal sense, you're not supposed to be shaving as men. That is against the law. You're not supposed to be shaving your head or beard, according to the law. But in this case, it says he should shave, but the eruption he does not shave. I was telling you right here. They give you complete instruction that you have to read the whole chapter to you still don't understand, you can definitely try to ask questions to see if it's about someone else may be able to tell you what this means, And even have the incident where the man loses the hair of his head. He is bald. He is clean. So this is an incident where he has to lose his hair of his head, and he is bald. He is clean. This is like a natural baldness stuff. But if you are just shaving your head and balding your head, then you are sinning against the Most High God as a man. That is a sin against the Most High God. If you are just choosing to bald your head, you are sinning against the Most High God. We as men are not supposed to be bald. This world has taught us as men not to have long hair. But that's our culture. We're supposed to let our hair grow as men and women too. Now we're supposed to let our hair grow. That is you're not supposed to be balding our head as men, shaving our beard or head. We're not supposed to be doing those things. But in this case, this was like a natural bald. Is that this happened to happen and be clean. That's not something he just chooses to shave. This is a different situation. So you gotta make sure you have understanding of this stuff. You don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But yeah, we need to know this for real now because if anybody ever has any of these that ever has this happen to them as a man, and you need this is you are unclean for 7 days. And if it has not healed, though, you are unclean for another 7 days. But all right, now we go to Leviticus 14, and it reads, "And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, This shall be the Torah of the leper for the day of his cleansing. He shall be brought to the priest, and the priest shall go out of the camp, and the priest shall look and see that the leprosy is healed in the leper. Then the priest shall command, and he shall take for him who is to be cleansed 2 live and clean birds, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. And the priest shall command, and he shall slay one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water. Let him take the live bird and the cedar wood, and the scarlet, and the hyssop, and dip them in the live bird, in the blood of the bird that was slain over the running water, and he shall sprinkle it 7 times on him who is to be cleansed from the leprosy, and shall pronounce him clean, and shall let the live bird loose in the open field. And he who is to be cleansed shall wash his garment, and shall shave off all his hair, and wash himself in water, and shall be clean. Then after that he comes into the camp, but shall stay outside his tent 7 days. And on the 7th day it shall be that he shaves all the hair off his head, in his beard, in his eyebrow, even all his hair he shaves off. And he shall wash his garment, and wash his body in water, and shall be clean. So this right here is just telling him, man, man's supposed to do this only because if he has a leprous infection, he has that leprosy. But in normal incidents, if you don't have leprosy, you would be breaking the law. Yeah, if you were to do it. In verse 10, it says, and on the 8th day he takes 2 male lambs, perfect ones, and one all lamb, a year old, a perfect one, in 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering, and 1 log of oil. And the priest who is cleansing shall present the man who is to be cleansed with these offerings before Yah at the door of the tent of appointment. And the priest shall take 1 male lamb and bring it as a guilt offering, and a log of oil, and wave them as a wave offering before Yah. And he shall slay the lamb in the place where he slays the sin offering, and the burnt offering in a set apart place. For the guilt offering, like the sin offering, belongs to the priest. It is most set apart. And the priest shall take some of the blood of the guilt offering, and the priest shall put it on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. And the priest shall take some of the log of oil, and pour it into the palm of his own left hand. And the priest shall dip his right finger in the oil that is in his left hand, and shall sprinkle some of the oil with his finger 7 times before Yah, and of the rest of the oil in his hand. The priest puts some on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be clean, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, on the blood of the guilt offering, and the priest of the oil that is in the priest's hand. He puts on the head of him who is to be cleansing, and the priest shall make atonement for him before Yah. And the priest shall make the sin offering, and make atonement for him who is to be cleansed from his uncleanness. Then afterwards he slays the burnt offering. And the priest shall offer the burnt offering and the grain offering on the slaughter place. And the priest shall make atonement for him, and he shall be clean. But if he is poor is unable to afford it, then he shall take one male lamb as a guilt offering to be weighed to make atonement for him, and 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour will mix with oil as a grain offering, and a log of oil, and 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, such as he is able to afford. And one shall be a sin offering, and the other a burnt offering. And he shall bring them to the priest on the 8th day for his cleansing, to the door of the tent of appointment before Yah. And the priest shall take the lamb of the guilt offering and the log of oil, and the priest shall wave them as a wave offering before Yah. And he shall slay the lamb of the guilt offering, and the priest shall take some of the blood of the guilt offering and put it on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. Then the priest pours some of the oil into the palm of his own left hand, and the priest shall sprinkle with his right finger some of the oil that is in his left hand 7 times before Yah. And the priest shall put some of the oil that is in his hand on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, and on the thumb of the right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, on the place of the blood of the guilt offering. And the rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand, he puts on the head of him who is to be cleansed, to make atonement for him before Yah. And he shall prepare one of the turtle doves or young pigeons, such as he is able to afford, that which he is able to afford, the one as a sin offering, and the other as a burnt offering with the grain offering. And the priest shall make atonement for him who is to be cleansed before Yah. This is the Torah for one who had an infection of leprosy, who is unable to afford for his cleansing. And Yah spoke to Moshe and to Aharon, saying, when you come into the land of Canaan, which I am giving you as a possession, and I put a plague of leprosy in a house in the land of your possession, then shall the one who owns the house come and inform the priest, saying, it seems to me that there is some plague in the house. And the priest shall command, and they shall empty the house before the priest goes in to look at the plague, so that all that is in the house is not made unclean. Ooh. And after that, the priest goes in to look at the house, and he shall look at the plague and see that the plague is on the walls of the house, which with sunken places, greenish or reddish, which appears to be deep in the wall. Then the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house and shut up the house 7 days. And the priest shall come again on the 7th day and look and see that the plague has spread on the walls of the house. And the priest shall command, and they shall remove the stones with the plague in them, and they shall throw them outside the city into an unclean place. Ooh. While he lets the house be scraped inside all around, and the dust that they scrape off, they shall pour out in an unclean place outside the city. And they shall take other stones and put them in the place of those stones, and take other mortal and plaster the house. And if the plague comes back and breaks out in the house after he has removed the stone, after scraped, he has scraped the house, and after it is plastered, then the priest shall come and look and see, come and look and see if the plague has spread in the house. It is an act of leprosy in the house. It is unclean. And he shall break the house, its stones, and its timber, and all the plaster of the house, and he shall bring them outside the city to an unclean place. And he who goes into the house all the days while it is shut up becomes unclean until evening. And he who lies down in the house has to wash his garments, and he who eats in the house has to wash his garment. However, if the priest indeed comes in and looks at it and sees that the plague has not spread in the house after the house was plastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean before the plague is healed. And to cleanse the house, he shall take 2 birds in cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. And he shall slay one of the birds in any earthen vessel over running water. And he shall take the cedar wood, and the hyssop, and the scarlet, and the live bird, and dip them in the blood of the slain bird, and in the running water, and shall sprinkle the house 7 times. He shall thus cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, and the running water, and the live bird, and with the cedar wood, and with the hyssop, and with the scarlet. And he shall let the live bird loose outside the city in the open field, and shall make atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. This is the Torah for any infection of leprosy and eruption, and for leprosy of a garment and of a house, and for a swelling, and for a scab, and for a bright spot, to teach what is unclean and when it is clean. Oh, to teach when it is unclean and when it is clean. This is the Torah of leprosy. Oh, yeah. Ooh, wait, oh my. Ooh, wait. Wow. You know that's something when the house is unclean. Oh my. Wow. That's a serious thing right there. The house have leprosy, and the house becomes unclean now. And all those that are in the house are unclean. So man. So it just makes me wonder, who is even in the house? Who If there any houses, this just makes me wonder if there's any houses that have leprosy. This is saying we should do now. I mean, could we even do all these things up today? That's kind of what I'm wondering now, because I mean, we are not in our land, so I'm just curious if we could do all these things. I wonder. And then also with the different offerings and stuff though, and stuff that they would do for or like the cleansing though. We don't we don't even have that though. We're not in our land though, so we can't do these offerings and turtle doves and mailing. We can't do that this thing no. So then what do we do then if we had this though? That's kind of the thing that makes me want, because we're not in our land, so what do we do then? Because we don't have this thing. And see, the thing is, we don't even know who the priests are now to be doing these things now. This is what the commanded of the priest to do right here. So okay, so you read this. I don't see. I think this is yeah, that's just for the priest to do now. To do these things so for the with the house, to plaster it on break break down the house its own and simply do. I think yeah, I think it's for the priest. Yeah, to do those things. So we supposed to get out of the house though when you got that the leprous infection in the house, because we stay if we're in it and we're unclean too. So I'm like, man, that's a lot to think about right there. Yeah, that's a whole lot right there. But yeah, we need to know these things now. Even though this may seem like it's a lot, though, we're not used to this stuff, but we need to know these things as a people. And plus, we need to teach this to the world. Now, these things, these are serious. And yeah, it's strict, though, no doubt about it. Not to say you may not like it, though, but I mean, it is what it is. Though. This is this is his Torah. Yeah, yeah, we need to know these things, though. But you are welcome to. Y'all welcome to ask whatever questions y'all have. You welcome to ask. So, all right. So next place is Leviticus 15, and it reads, "And Yah spoke to Moshe and to Aharon, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When any man has a discharge from his flesh, his discharge is unclean, and this is his uncleanness in regard to his discharge. Rather, his flesh runs with his discharge, or his flesh is stopped up by his discharge. It is his uncleanness. Any bed becomes unclean on which he who has the discharge lies, or any object on which he sits becomes unclean. And anyone who touches his bed has to wash his garments. He shall bathe in water and be unclean until evening. And he who sits on any object on which he who has the discharge sat has to wash his garment and shall bathe in water and be unclean until evening. And he who touches the flesh of him who has the discharge has to wash his garment and shall bathe in water and shall be unclean until evening. And when he who has the discharge spits on him who is clean, then he shall wash his garment and shall bathe in water and be unclean until evening. Any saddle on which he who has the discharge rides becomes unclean, and whoever touches any of that which is under him is unclean until evening. And he who is carrying them up has to wash his garments and shall bathe in water and be unclean until evening. And anyone whom he who has the discharge touches without wrenching his hands in water shall wash his garments and bathe in water and be unclean until evening. And the earthen vessel which he who has the discharge touches has to be broken, and every wooden vessel has to be rinsed in water. And when he who has a discharge is cleansed of his discharge, then he shall count for himself 7 days for his cleansing, and shall wash his garment, and shall bathe his flesh in running water, and be clean. And on the 8th day he takes for himself 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, and shall come before Yah to the door of the tent of appointment, and shall give them to the priest. And the priest shall prepare them, the one as the sin offering, and the other as the burnt offering. And the priest shall make atonement for him before Yah because of his discharge. And when a man has an emission of semen, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until evening. And any garment or any leather on which there is semen shall also be washed with water and be unclean until evening. And when a woman lies with a man and there is a emission of semen, they both shall bathe in water and be unclean until evening. And when a woman has a discharge, and a discharge from her flesh is blood, she has to be in her separation for 7 days, and whoever touches her is unclean until evening. And whatever she lies on during her separation is unclean, and whatever she sits on is unclean. And anyone who touches her bed has to wash his garment and shall bathe in water and be unclean until evening. And whoever touches any garment that she sit on has to wash his garment and shall bathe in water and be unclean until evening. And if it is on the bed or on any object on which she sits, when he touches it, he is unclean until evening. And if a man lies with her at all, and her monthly flow is on him, he shall be unclean 7 days. And any bed he lies on is unclean. And and when a woman has a discharge of blood for many days, other than at the time of her monthly separation, or when she discharges beyond her usual time of monthly separation, all the days of her unclean discharge shall be as the days of her monthly separation. She is unclean. any bed on which she lies all the days of her discharge is to her as the bed of her monthly separation. And whatever she sits on is unclean, as the uncleanness of her monthly separation. And anyone who touches them is unclean, and shall wash his garment, and shall bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. But if but if she is cleansed on her discharge, then she shall count for herself 7 days, and after that she is clean. And on the eighth day she takes for herself 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, and shall bring them to the priest to the door of the tent of appointment. And the priest shall prepare the one as a sin offering, and the other as a burnt offering, and the priest shall make atonement for her before Yah for the discharge of her uncleanness. Thus you shall separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, lest they die in their uncleanness when they defile my dwelling place, which is in their midst. And this is the Torah for one who has a discharge, and for him who emits semen and is unclean thereby, and for her who is sick in her monthly separation, and for one who has a discharge, either man or woman, and for him who lies with an unclean woman. Hallelujah. Mm. And this is right here goes to show you any discharge right here, you are unclean for 7 days. So yes, if it's man or woman, you are unclean for 7 days. If a man has an emission of semen, he is unclean though. He is unclean until the evening. And he has to wash himself up, make before the sun goes down, so he can be clean. So yeah, and then that's for a man if he has if he has a discharge, he's unclean for 7. And if it's an emission of semen, he's just unclean until evening once he washes himself. And also for a woman who has a menstrual cycle now. That's when women have that they are unclean. No, she is unclean for 7 days. And sometimes there may be incidents where she may discharge beyond her usual time. Now, if she has to complete that now, if that happens. So, because I mean, stuff do happen now. Things can be longer now. It's just, and I know this is not really a comfortable. This is kind of an uncomfortable talk to talk about, but I think this needs to be talked about because it's very important that we know these things, so that we teach other people these things. And when if this stuff happens, so when this stuff happens, know that we know that what that we are unclean, and what to do when we are unclean. And we don't have the priest, so unfortunately We don't know who the priests are today, though. Unfortunately, those certain things, but we still this law this still stands though about our days of being unclean. If this stuff happens, that still stands. We we don't get no pass on that just because we're not in the land. Yeah. Now when we go to Leviticus 16, and it reads in the whole read the whole chapter, and it reads, and Yah spoke to Moshe after the death of the two sons of Aharon, as they drew near before Yah and died. And Yah said to Moshe, speak to Aharon your brother, not to come in at all times to the set apart place inside the veil before the lid of atonement, which is on the ark, lest he die, because I appear in the cloud above the lid of atonement. With this Aharon shall come into the set apart place with the blood of a young bull as a sin offering, and of a ram as a burnt offering. He should put on the set apart linen, long shirt with linen trousers on his flesh, and gird himself with a linen girdle, and be dressed with the linen turban. They are set apart garments, and he shall bathe his body in water, and shall put them on. And from the congregation of the children of Israel, he takes two male goats as a sin offering, and one ram as a burnt offering. And Aharon shall bring the bull as a sin offering, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his house. And he shall take the two goats and let them stand before Yah at the door of the tent of appointment. And Aharon shall cast lots for the two goats, one lot for Yah, and the other lot for as Azariah, Azazel. And Aharon shall bring the goat on which the lot for Yah fell, and shall prepare it as a sin offering. But the goat on which the lot for Azazel fell is caused to stand alive before Yah to make atonement upon it, to send it into the wilderness of Azazel. And Aharon or Aaron shall bring the bull of the sin offering, which is for him, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his house, and shall slay the bull as the sin offering, which is for himself, and shall take a fire holder filled with burning coals of fire from the slaughter place before Yah, with his hand filled with sweet incense, beaten fine, and shall bring it inside the veil. And he shall put the incense on the fire before Yah, and the cloud of incense shall cover the lid of atonement, which is on the witness, lest he die. And he shall take some of the blood of the bull and sprinkle it with his finger on the lid of atonement on the east side Also in front of the lead of atonement, he sprinkled some of the blood with his finger 7 times, and he shall slay the goat of the sin offering, which is for the people, and shall bring its blood inside the veil, and shall do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bull, and sprinkle it on the lead of atonement and in front of the lead of atonement. And he shall make atonement for the set apart place because of the uncleanness of the children of Israel, and because of their transgression and in all their sins. And so he does for the tent of appointment, which is dwelling with them in the midst of their uncleanness. And no man shall be in the tent of appointment when he goes in to make atonement in the set apart place until he comes out. And he shall make atonement for himself and for his household and for all the assembly of Israel. And he shall go out to the slaughter place that is before Yah to make atonement for it. And he shall take some of the blood of the bull and some of the blood of the goat and put it on the horns of the slaughter place all around. And he shall sprinkle some of the blood on it with his finger 7 times, and cleanse it, and set it apart from the uncleanness of the children of Israel. And when he has finished atonement for the set apart place, in the tent of appointment, in the slaughter place, he shall bring the live goat, and Aharon shall lay both his hands on the head of the live goat, and shall confess over it all the wickednesses of the children of Israel, and all their transgressions, and all their sins. And shall put them on the head of the goat, and shall send it away into the wilderness by the hand of a fit man. And the goat shall bear on itself all their wickednesses to a land cut off. Thus he shall send the goat away into the wilderness. Aharon shall then come into the tent of appointment, and shall take off the linen garments which he puts on when he went into the slaughter. When he went into the set apart place, and shall leave them. Leave there, my bad. And he shall bathe his body in water in the set apart place, and shall put on his garment, and shall come out and prepare his burnt offering in the burnt offering of the people, and make atonement for himself and for the people, and burn the fat of the sin offering of the slaughter place. And he who sent away the goat to Azer washes his garments, and shall bathe his body in water, and afterward he comes into the camp. And the bull for the sin offering, and the goat for the sin offering, whose blood was brought in to make atonement in his set apart place, is brought outside the camp, and they shall burn their skins and their flesh, and their dug with fire. And he who burns them washes his garments, and shall bathe his body in water, and afterward he comes into the camp. And this shall be for you a law forever. In the seventh new moon, on the 10th day of the new moon, you afflict your beings and do no work, the native or the stranger who sojourns among you. For on that day he makes excuse, from that day he makes atonement for you to cleanse you to be clean from all your sins before Yah. It is a Shabbat of rest for you, and you shall afflict your beings, a law forever. And the priest who is anointed and ordained to serve as priest in his father's place shall make atonement and shall put on the linen garment, the set apart garment, and he shall make atonement for the most set apart place, and make atonement for the tent of appointment, and for the slaughter place, and make atonement for the priest, and for all the people of the assembly. And this shall be for you a law forever, to make atonement for the children of Israel for all their sins once a year. And he did as Yah commanded Moshe. Hallelujah. So this right here, this is showing you the importance of being clean now, and not to be, and even just how strict this, the law of Yah is. So, well, we need to know these things right here. And he did mention Day of Atonement now, right here. Now we mentioned that in the later verse, the Day of Atonement, the last few verses. Yeah, certain things we can't do because we're not in our land. No? But we can definitely be we, we definitely whatever we need to do to be clean, do whatever we can do to be clean, we should do that. Because these do still stand though about being clean, even though we may not be in our land to do certain things. So let's see, this is the thing. We think being clean is just about taking a bath or taking a shower. It's it's much deeper than that. Taking a bath or a shower, it does not always mean that you are clean. It's certain you also, to be clean, you have to do it before the sun goes down to be clean. In certain in certain incidents. So, yeah, you are just where if you are unclean for the eat, you know, there's certain incidents where you can be unclean for more than just one day. So we just is why it's important we need to know these things right here. Okay. You gotta notice though is the priests have more laws than anyone. That's the thing I noticed though. All right, so the next place is Leviticus chapter 17. Let's read the whole chapter. And this one is well. And it reads, And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aharon, to his sons, and to all the children of Israel, and say to them, This is the word which Yah has commanded, saying, Any man from the house of Israel who slays a bull or a lamb or a goat in the camp, or who slays it outside the camp, and does not bring it to the door of the tent of appointment, to bring an offering to Yah before the dwelling place of Yah. Blood guilt is reckoned to that man. He has shed blood, and that man shall be cut off from among his people, in order that the children of Israel bring their slaughterings, which they slaughter in the open field, and they shall bring them to Yah at the door of the tent of appointment to the priest, and slaughter them as slaughterings of peace offerings to Yah. And the priest shall sprinkle the blood on the slaughter place of Yah at the door of the tent of appointment, and shall burn the fat for a sweet fragrance to Yah. And let them no longer slaughter their slaughterings to demons, after whom they whore. This is a law forever for them throughout their generation. And say to them, Any man or of the house of Israel, or the strangers who sojourn among you, who offers a burnt offering or slaughter, and does not bring it to the door of the tent of appointment to do it to Yah, that man shall be cut off from among his people. And any man of the house of Israel, or the strangers who sojourn among you, who eats any blood, I shall set my face against that being who eats blood, and shall cut him off from among his people. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the slaughter place to make atonement for your life. For it is the blood that makes atonement for the life. Therefore I said to the children of Israel, no being among you eats blood, nor does any stranger who sojourns among you eat blood. And, and any man from the children of Israel, or from the strangers who sojourn among you, who hunts and catches any bird, any beast or bird which is eaten, shall pour out his blood and cover it with dust. For it is the life of all flesh. Its blood is for its life. And I said to the children of Israel, Do not eat the blood of any flesh, for the life of all flesh is its blood. Anyone eating it is cut off. And any being who eats a carcass, or what was torn by a beast, be he a native or a stranger, he shall wash his garments and bathe in water, and shall be unclean until evening. Then he shall be clean. And if he does not wash or bathe his body, then he shall bear his wickedness. Oh, yeah. So, okay. Just go to show you right here. You will go to show you that you so not to this thing right here. It's definitely a sin to eat blood. Now, I don't even know why anybody would even want to eat blood anyway. That's just nasty anyway. So it's just it's just crazy now. Why would anybody want to eat blood anyway? But yeah, it's not a joke right here. These are serious stuff. But it needs to be talked about. No, people may not necessarily like it that I'm talking about this stuff, but I mean it needs to be talked about because we need to know these things, and as a people in the whole world needs to know it too. We need to be teaching them we need to be teaching them our way of life. And we gotta take these things serious. It's a huge responsibility right here though, for us though, the because it was because the word was given to us. He is not dealt so with any other nation. You read in the book of Psalms. So this is it's really serious right here. Let's see. Let's see the next. Mm, oh yeah, okay. I did miss this point. Okay, so the next place is Leviticus 7. Okay, I did skip. I should have read that one first. Okay. Um, well, yeah, I should. Let's see. Yes. Hold on. Here's another in Leviticus. No, let's go to Leviticus 5 though, because actually we'll go there first. Though. You can go back to 7, and then you still got many more. You still got quite a bit of scriptures left. Let's see. In Leviticus 5, the whole chapter, and it reads, and when a being sins in that he has heard the voice of swearing and is a witness or has seen or has known, but does not revere reveal it, he shall bear his wickedness. Or when a being touches any unclean matter, or the carcass of any unclean beast, or the carcass of unclean livestock, or the carcass of unclean creeping creature, and it has been hidden from him, he is unclean and guilty. Or when he touches uncleanness of man, any of its uncleanness by which he is unclean, or and it has been hidden from him, when he shall know it, then he shall be guilty. Or when a being swears speaking rashly with his lips to do evil or to do good, whatever it is that a man swears rashly with an oath, and it has been hidden from him. When he shall know it, then he shall be guilty of one of these. And it shall be when he is guilty of one of these that he shall confess that in which he has sinned, and shall bring his guilt offering to Yah for his sin which he has sinned, a female from the flock, a lamb or a female goat, as a sin offering. And the priest shall make atonement for him for his sin. And if he is unable to bring a lamb, then he shall bring to Yah he who has sinned 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. And he shall bring them to the priest, who shall bring near that which is for the sin offering first, and nip off his head from his neck, but not severely. And he shall sprinkle some of the blood of the sin offering on, on the side of the slaughter place, and the rest of the blood shall be drained out at the base of the slaughter place. It is a sin offering. And he shall prepare the second as a burnt offering according to the right rule. And the priest shall make atonement for him for his sin which he has sinned, and it shall be forgiven him. But if he is unable to bring two turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, then he who sinned shall bring for his offering 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a sin offering. He puts no oil on it, nor does he put any frankincense on it, for it is a sin offering. And he shall bring it to the priest, and the priest shall take his hand filled with it as a remembrance portion, and burn it on the slaughter place, according to the offerings made by fire to Yah. It is a sin offering, and the priest shall make atonement for him for his sin that he has sinned in any of these, and it shall be forgiven him. And it shall be the priestess like a grain offering. And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, when a being commits a trespass and has sinned by mistake against the set apart matters of Yah, then he shall bring to Yah as his guilt offering a ram, a perfect one, from the flock, with their valuation in shekels of silver, according to the shekel of the set apart place, as a guilt offering. And he shall make good for the sin that he has done against it, which is set apart, and shall add 1/5 to it, and give it to the priest. And the priest shall make atonement for him with the ram of the guilt offering, and it shall be forgiven him. And when any being sins and has done which is not to be done against any of the commands of Yah, though he knew it not, yet he shall be guilty and shall bear his witnesses. Then he shall bring to the priest a ram, a perfect one, from the flock, with your valuation, as a guilt offering. And the priest shall make atonement for his mistake he committed unintentionally, though he did not know it, and it shall be forgiven him. It is a guilt offering. He was truly guilty before Yah. Oh, yeah. So yeah, in this case, this so in this case, we kind of talk more about it's also kind of talking about having a clean heart as well. Now. And this is also mentioned about what people when a being sins by mistake. Now. This is what that the offerings and stuff. Now we don't have these things today now. But, so if we sin is made known to us, best thing what we can do is we can just ask the Most High Yah to forgive us now, if we have sinned by mistake now, and it's being made known to us. What we can do is just ask for forgiveness now. No longer do that again. No longer go back to that thing. Because now you know better. When you choose to when you choose to do when you do it again, now that's a presumptuous sin. And when we were in our land and we made a presumptuous sin, that was you were put to death for that. Now that's what the Bible says for presumptuous sin. Yeah, even though it was talking more about being more than being clean and unclean business, but we also need to make sure we have our hearts on right though. Have a clean heart though. Now our heart ain't unclean. Something we need to think about as people. So, yeah, and then the next place is is Leviticus chapter 7. And it reads, and this is the Torah of the guilt offering. It is most set apart. The guilt offering is slain in the place where they slay the burnt offering, and its blood is sprinkled on the slaughter place all around. And then he brings from it all its fat, the fat tail and the fat that covers the entrail, and the two kidneys in the fat that is on them by the loins, and the after appendage on the liver, which he removes with the kidneys. And the priest shall burn them on the slaughter place as an offering made by fire to Yah. It is a guilt offering. Every male among the priests eats it. It is eaten in the set apart place. It is most set apart. The guilt offering is like the sin offering. There is one Torah for them both. The priest who makes atonement with it, it is his. And the priest who brings anyone's a burnt offering, the skin of the burnt offering, which he has brought, is the priest. It is his. And every grain offering that is baked in the oven, and all that is perfect in the stewing pot or on the griddle is the priest who brings it. It is his. And every grain offering mixed with oil or dry is for all the sons of Aharon, for all alike. And this is the Torah of the slaughtering of peace offering, which is brought to Yah. if he brings it for a thanksgiving, then he shall bring with the slaughterings of thanksgiving unleavened cakes mixed with oil, and unleavened thin cakes anointed with oil, or cakes of finely blended flour mixed with oil. Besides the cake, he brings as his offering leavened bread together with the slaughterings of thanksgiving of his peace offering. And from it he shall bring one cake from each offering as a contribution to Yah, to the priest who sprinkles the blood of the peace offering. It is his. As for the flesh of the slaughtering of his peace offerings for thanksgiving, it is eaten the same day. It is offended. He does not leave any of it until morning. And if the slaughtering he brings is a vow or voluntary offering, it is eaten the same day that he brings his slaughtering, and what is left of it is eaten the next day. But whatever is left of the flesh of the slaughtering on the third day is burned with fire. However, if any of the flesh of the slaughtering of his peace offerings is eaten at all on the third day, it is not accepted. It is not reckoned to him who brings it. It is unclean to him, and the being who eats of it bears his wickedness. And the flesh that touches that which is unclean is not eaten, it is burned with fire. And as for the clean flesh, all who are clean eat of it. But the being who eats the flesh of the slaughtering of peace offering that belongs to Yah while he is unclean, that being shall be cut off from his people. And when a being who touches that which is unclean of the uncleanness of man, or of the uncleanness of beast, or of any unclean abomination, and shall eat the flesh of the slaughtering of peace offering, that that belongs to Yah, that being shall be cut off from his people. And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel, saying, do not eat any fat, or of bull, or sheep, or goat, in the fat of a dead body, in the fat of which is torn is used for any purpose, but you do not eat it at all. For whoever eats the fat of the beast, of which men bring as an offering made by fire to Yah, even the being who eats it shall be cut off from his people. And do not eat any blood in any of your dwellings, of bird or of beast. Any being who eats any blood, even that being shall be cut off from his people. And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel, saying, he who brings his slaughtering of peace offerings to Yah brings his offering to Yah from the slaughtering of his peace offering with his own hands. He brings the offerings made by fire to Yah. He brings the fat with the breast to be waved as a wave offering before Yah. And the priest shall burn the fat on the slaughter place, but the breast shall be Aharon's and his son. In the right thigh you give to the priest, as a contribution from the slaughtering of your peace offering. He among the sons of Aharon who brings the blood of the peace offering in the fat, the right thigh is his for a portion. For the breast of the wave offering in the thigh of the contribution I have taken from the children of Israel, from the slaughterings of their peace offering, and I give them to Aharon the priest and to his sons as a law forever from the children of Israel. This is the anointed portion, portion for Aharon and the anointed portion for his sons from the offerings made by fire to Yah on the day which Moshe presented them to serve as priests to Yah, which Yah commanded to be given to them by the children of Israel on the day that he anointed them, a law forever throughout their generation. This is the Torah of the burnt offering, of the grain offering, and of the sin offering, and of the guilt offering, and of the ordinations, and of the slaughtering of peace offering, which Yah commanded Moshe on Mount Zion, on Mount Sinai, on the day which he commanded the children of Israel to bring their offerings to Yah in the wilderness of Sinai. Hallelujah. Hmm. Yeah, go to show you right here. Tells you you're not supposed to be eating fat either. So, not supposed to be eating fat. That is against the law of the Most High God. In the fat of the dead body, in the fat. That would be. I would hope nobody would do that because that's just nasty. That's just really nasty though. That's definitely breaking. You definitely sin against the Most High God. That is serious though. That is just nasty. I can't even imagine that anybody would even eat the fat of a dead body. Just even eat fat, period. No, it's just nasty. So anything unclean is not to be eaten. As it, well, verse 19 it said, "And the flesh that touches that which is unclean is not eaten; it is burned with fire. And as for the clean flesh, all who are clean eat it." So yes, definitely is something. This is definitely a whole lot right here. One thing I do want. What is the breast? What is that though? Here though. That's what I'm want. I really don't know to be honest though. I'm, I don't even know what that is though to be honest. Okay. Um. Now, the next place we have Leviticus 21, whole chapter for this. And Yah said to Moshe, speak to the priests, the sons of Aharon, and say to them, no one is to be defiled for the dead among his people, except for his relatives who are nearest to him, for his mother, and for his father, and for his son, and for his daughter, and for his brother, and for his maiden sister who is near to him, who has had no husband. For her he is defiled. A leader does not defile himself among his people to profane himself. They do not make any bald place on their heads, and they do not shave the corner of their beard, and they do not make a cutting in their flesh. They are set apart to their Elohim, and do not profane the name of their Elohim. For they bring the fire offerings of Yah in the bread of their Elohim, and shall be set apart. They do not take a woman who is a whore or a defiled woman, and they do not take a woman put away from her husband, for he is set apart to his Elohim. And you shall set him apart, for he brings the bread of your Elohim. He is set apart to you. For I, Yah, setting you apart, am set apart. And when the daughter of any priest profanes herself by whoring, she profanes her father. She is burned with fire. And the high priest among his brothers, on whose head the anointed oil was poured, and who was ordained to wear the garments, does not unbeard his head, nor tear his garment, nor come near any dead body, nor defile himself for his father or his mother, nor go out of the set apart place, nor profane the set apart place of his Elohim. For the sign of dedication of the anointed oil of his Elohim is upon him. I am Yah. And let him take a wife in her maidenhood, a widow, or one put away, or a defiled woman, or a whore. These he does not take, but a maiden of his own people he does take as a wife, and he does not profane his offspring among his people, for I am Yah who sets him apart. And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to Aharon, saying, no man of your offspring throughout their generation who has any defect is to draw near to bring the bread of his Elohim. For any man who has a defect is not to draw near. A man blind, or one lame, or disfigured, or deformed. A man who has a broken foot, or broken hand, or is a hunchback, or a dress, or a man who has a defect in his eye, or enmity, or scab, or is a eunuch. No man among the offspring of Aaron the priest who has a defect is to come near to bring the offerings made by fire to Yah. He has a defect. He does not come near to bring the bread of his Elohim. he does eat the bread of his Elohim, both the most set apart and the set apart. Only he does not go near the veil or approach the slaughter place, because he has a defense lest he profanes my set apart places. For I am Yah who sets them apart. Thus Moshe spoke to Aharon and his sons, and to all the children of Israel. Hallelujah. Ooh, wait. Yeah, this is something. I was telling you, ooh, we for don't for men who have these things happen to them. No, if a man has any defect, he is not to draw near them. The man blind or one lame or disfigured or deformed. Now, just any of he's just telling you he's not supposed to. Yeah, this is it's serious for real now. And yeah, this was the priest though. So, he did talk a lot about the priest though here though. And this is showing about a man that has these things though. Going back to the clean and unclean laws. So yeah, it's important to know these things, and I know it's a lot though, but we need to know these things though. All right. All right, so the next place is Leviticus 22, and it reads, and Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to Aharon and his sons, that they separate themselves from the set apart offering of the children of Israel, and that they do not profane my set apart name, in which they set apart to me. I am Yah. Say to them, any man of all your offspring throughout your generation who draws near the set apart offering, which the children of Israel set apart to Yah, while he has uncleanness upon him, that being shall be cut off from before me. I am Yah. Any man of the offspring of Aharon who is a leopard or has a discharge does not eat the set apart offering until he is clean. And whoever touches what is rendered unclean by a being or a man who has had an emission of semen, or a man who touches any swarming creature by which he would be made unclean, or any being by whom he would become unclean, even any of its uncleanness. The being who has touched it shall be unclean until evening, and does not eat the set apart offering, but shall bathe his body in water. And when the sun goes down, he shall be clean, and afterward eat the set apart offering, because it is his food. He does not eat that which dies, or is torn by beasts, becoming unclean by I am Yah. And they shall guard my charge, lest they bear sin for it, and die thereby. When they profane it, I Yah set them apart, and no stranger eats the set apart offering. A sojourner with the priest or a hired servant does not eat the set apart offering. But when the priest buys a beam with his silver, he does eat of it. And one who is born in this house does eat does eat his food. And when a priest's daughter is married to a stranger, she does not eat of the set apart gathering. But when a priest's daughter is a widow or put away and has no child, and has returned to her father's house as in her youth, she does eat her father's food, but no stranger eats of it. And when a man eats the set apart offering by mistake, then he shall give a set apart offering to the priest and add 1/5 to it. And let the priest not profane the set apart offering of the children of Israel when they lift up to Yah, or allow them to bear the wickednesses of trespass when they eat their set apart offering. For I am Yah who sets them apart. And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to Aharon and his son, and to all the children of Israel, and say to them, any man of the house of Israel, or of the strangers in Israel, who bring his offering for any of his vows, or for any of his voluntary offering, which they bring to Yah as a burnt offering. For your acceptance is a male, a perfect one, from the cattle, from the sheep, or from the goat. Whatever has a defect, you do not bring, for it is not acceptable for you. And when a man brings a slaughtering of peace offerings to Yah to complete a vow or a voluntary offering from the cattle or the sheep, it is to be perfect, to be accepted. Let there be no defect in it. Those blind or broken or cut or a social having a social having a social or MZ or scabs, having an ulcer or MZ or scabs, you do not bring to Yah, nor make an offering by fire of them on the slaughter place to Yah. As for a bull or a lamb that has any limb defounded, or the wart dwarf or dwarf, you do prepare as a voluntary offering. But for a vow, it is not accepted. Do not bring to Yah what is bruised or crushed or torn or cut, nor do it in your land. And from a son or of a stranger's hand, you do not bring any of these as the bread of your Elohim, for their corruption is in them, and defects are in them. They are not acceptable for you. And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, when a bull or a sheep or a goat is born, it shall be 7 days with its mother, and from the 8th day and thereafter it is acceptable as an offering made by fire to Yah. But do not slay a cow or a sheep and its young on the same day. And when you slaughter a slaughtering of thanksgiving to Yah, the slaughter it for your acceptance. It is eaten that same day. Leave none of it till morning. I am Yah, and you shall guard my commands and do them. I am Yah, and do not profane my set apart name, and I shall be set apart among the children of Israel. I am Yah, who sets you apart, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim to be your Elohim. I am Yah. Hallelujah. Hmm. Well, yeah, hmm. Seems like it's kind of like what we kind of talked about. Anyway, it's kind of similar. Some of the things that I know you kind of had said the same thing now. Yeah, it's important to know these things. So we this is this is this is a lot though. This is a lot of scriptures on clean and unclean laws. To show you that how serious this is right here. Even I had to be honest. So some of these things I'm kind of not sure. I may not be sure about, to be honest. So I mean, these things when I'm reading, I don't think I can say I understand everything that I'm reading. I gotta admit that because it's everything is just everything I just don't know. I'm just not gonna understand. What I do understand, I talk about it. Though. So, yeah. All right. Okay. So the next place is Numbers 8 now. Let's see. Numbers 8. Okay. Um, hmm. Let's see. Do I need to read the whole thing here? Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I'll just read the whole chapter here. Numbers 8, verse 1. And it reads, And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aharon and say to him, When you ascend to trim the lamps, let the 7 lamps give light in front of the lampstand. And Aharon did so. He set up the lamps to face toward the front of the lampstand, as Yah commanded Moshe. And this is the work of the lampstand. beaten work of gold. From its base to its blossom, it is beaten work, according to the pattern which Yah has shown Moshe. So he made the lampstand. And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, take the Levites from among the children of Israel, and you shall cleanse them, and do this to them to cleanse them. Sprinkle water of sin offering on them, and they shall shave all their body, and shall wash their garments, and cleanse themselves. It shall take a young bull with his grain offering. Okay, so I don't think, I think this might just be for the Levites right here. So let's continue. And shall take a young bull with his grain offering of fine flour mixed with oil, while you take another young bull as a sin offering. And you shall bring the Levites before the tent of appointment, and you shall assemble all the congregation of the children of Israel. And you shall bring the Levites before Yah, and the children of Israel shall lay their hands on the Levites, and Aharon shall wave the Levites before Yah, a wave offering from the children of Israel. So shall they be for doing the service of Yah. And the Levites shall lay their hands on the heads of the young bull, and one shall be prepared as a sin offering, and the other as a burnt offering to Yah, to make atonement for the Levites. And you shall have the Levites stand before Aharon and his son, and then wave them a wave offering to Yah. Thus you shall separate the Levites from among the children of Israel, and the Levites shall be mine. Then all that the Levites shall go in to do service in the tent of appointment. When you have cleansed them and waved them as a wave offering, for they are given to me from among the children of Israel. I have taken them for myself, instead of all who opened the womb, the firstborn of all the children of Israel, and all the firstborn among the children of Israel are mine, both man and beast. On the day that I struck all the firstborn in the land of Mizraim, I set them apart unto myself, and I have taken the Levites instead of all the firstborn of the children of Israel. And I have given the Levites as a gift to Aharon and his sons from among the children of Israel, to do the service of the children of Israel in the tent of appointment, and to make atonement for the children of Israel, that there be no plague among the children of Israel when the children of Israel come near this set apart place. As Moshe and Aharon and all the children of and all the congregation of the children of Israel did to the Levites, according to all that Yah commanded Moshe concerning the Levites. So the children of Israel did to them, and the Levites cleansed them and washed their garments, and Aharon waved them a wave offering before Yah, and Aharon made atonement for them to cleanse them. Then after that, the Levites went in to do their service in the tent of appointment before Aharon and his son, as Yah commanded Moshe concerning the Levites. So they did to them. And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, this applies to the Levite from 25 years old and above. Let him come into active service in the service of the tent of appointment. And at the age of 50 years, they retire from active service of this service and serve no more. That they shall attend with their brothers in the tent of appointment to guard the duty, but shall but but shall do no service. Thus you shall do to the Levites regarding their duties. Hallelujah. Yeah. Mm. Okay. So it was kind of, let's see. I think it was talking about like pretty much like the Levites cleansing themselves. I don't think it was talking about the children of Israel at all though. In this one, about them cleansing themselves, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was just talking about the Levite cleansing themselves. I mean, this is, we don't even know who the Levites are today. I I can't say I do. Because I don't. I don't even know who the Levites are today. All right. All right. So the next place is Numbers 19. Let's see here. And I could just read the whole chapter for this one as well. And it reads, and Yah spoke to Moshe and to Aharon, saying, this is the law of the Torah which Yah had commanded, saying, speak to the children of Israel that they bring you a red heifer, a perfect one, in which there is no blemish, and on which a yoke has never come. And you shall give it to Eleazar the priest, and he shall bring it outside the camp, and shall slay it before him. And Eleazar the priest shall take some of his blood with his finger, and sprinkle some of his blood 7 times towards the front of the tent of appointment. And the heifer shall be burned before his eyes. He burns its hide, and its flesh, and its blood, and its dove. And the priest shall take cedar wood, and hyssop, and scarlet, and throw them into the midst of the fire, burning the heifer. The priest shall then wash his garment, and shall bathe his body in water, and afterward come into the camp. But the priest is unclean until evening. And he who is burning it washes his garments in water, and shall bathe his body in water, and is unclean until evening. And a clean man shall gather up the ashes of the heifer, and shall place them outside the camp in a clean place, and they shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel, for the water, for uncleanness. It is for cleansing from sin. And he who gathers the ashes of the heifer shall wash his garment, and is unclean until evening. And it shall be a law forever to the children of Israel, and to the stranger who sojourns in their midst. He who touches the dead of any human being is unclean for 7 days. He is to cleanse himself with the water on the third day, and on the seventh day he is clean. But if he does not cleanse himself on the third day, then on the seventh day he is not clean. Interesting. Anyone who touches the dead of a human being and does not cleanse himself defiles the dwelling place of Yah, and that being shall be cut off from Israel. He is unclean, for the water for uncleanness was not sprinkled on him. His uncleanness is still upon him. This is the Torah when a man dies in a tent. All who come into the tent and all who are in the tent are unclean for 7 days. And every open vessel which has no cover fastened on it is unclean. Anyone in the open field who touches someone slain by a sword, or who has died, or a bone of a man, or a burial site, is unclean for 7 days. And for the unclean being, they shall take some of the ashes of the heifer burnt cleanse, for cleansing from sin, and running water shall be put on them in a vessel. And a clean man shall take hyssop and dip it in the water. He shall sprinkle it on the tent and on all the vessels and on the beings who were there, and on the one who touched a bone, or the slain, or the dead, or a bridal site. And the clean ones shall sprinkle the unclean on the third day, and on the seventh day. And on the seventh day he shall cleanse himself, and shall wash his garment, and bathe in water, and shall be clean in the evening. But the man who is unclean and does not cleanse himself, that being shall be cut off from among the assembly, because he has defiled the set apart place of Yah. Water for uncleanness has not been sprinkled on him. He is unclean. And it shall be a law for them forever. And the one who sprinkles the water for uncleanness washes his garment, and the one who touches the water for uncleanness is unclean until evening. And whatever the unclean being touches is unclean, and the being who touches it is unclean until evening. Oh, yeah. So this is nothing right here. So if you are touching a dead body, now, if someone that is dead, now if you are touching a person that is dead, now you are unclean for 7 days. That's something that also needs to be talked about. We need to know these things, and we are supposed to cleanse ourselves from the 7 days if we do touch a dead body. Because I mean, we may have those instances where you may do that because you say you may have a loved one that has passed away, Well, we may go to funeral stuff, so we may touch the dead body for that reason. But when we do, we are unclean for 7 days. So it's interesting that it says that if he does not cleanse himself on the third day, then on the seventh day he is not clean. That's kind of interesting right there. That it says that. I mean, you supposed to be cleansing yourself anyway now. You're supposed to be doing it anyway now. That's something you're supposed to be doing anyway, especially if you are unclean, especially. Yeah, if you don't, I will hope you are cleansing yourself. I will hope so. And I'm not getting to that now. But this is just to show you that the law, so that we need to just show these things, that we need to know these things. All right. Let's see. Another, I know Deuteronomy 14 is another one, but that's kind of the same, pretty much the same as Leviticus 11. So I may not go there for that reason, though, because it pretty much says the same thing. Yeah, let's see. So yeah, I am gonna go is Deuteronomy 23 now. We go there though. I'm probably not gonna read the whole chapter here. I might. Let's see. I'll see. Let's see if I'll read the chapter. Let's see. For a second. I'm not gonna do it. You know what? Yeah, let's read the whole chapter. Yeah, let's just do it now. All right, so Deuteronomy 23, and it reads, he who is wounded by crushing a tinsel, or whose penis is cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of Yah. A Muslim shall not enter the community of Yah. Even a tenth generation of his shall not enter the community of Yah. An Amorite or Moabite shall not enter the assembly of Yah. Even a tenth generation of them shall not shall not ever enter the assembly of Yah, because they did not meet you with bread and water on the way when you come out of Mizraim, and because they hired against you Balaam son of Bor from Pethor of Aram Nahim Nahariim to curse you. But Yah your Elohim refused to listen to Balaam, and Yah your Elohim turned the curse into a blessing for you, because Yah your Elohim loves you. Do not seek their peace nor their good all your days forever. Do not loathe an Edomite, for he is your brother. Do not loathe a Mizraite, because you were a stranger in his land. The children of the third generation born to them do enter the assembly of Yah. When the camp goes out against your enemies, then you shall guard yourself from every evil matter. When there is any man among you who is not clean because of an emission in the night, then he shall go outside the camp. Let him not come into the midst of the camp. And it shall be at the approach of evening that he bathes with water, and when the sun sets, let him come into the midst of the camp. And you shall have a place outside the camp where you shall go out, and you shall have a sharp impalement among your equipment. And when you sit down outside, and you shall dig with it, and turn and cover your excitement. For Yah your Elohim walks in the midst of your camp to deliver you and give your enemies over to you. Therefore, your camp shall be set apart, so that he does not see unclean man among you, and shall turn away from you. You do not hand over to his master the slave who has escaped from his master to you. Let him dwell with you in your midst, in a place where he chooses, within one of your gates, where it is pleasing to him. Do not oppress. None of the daughters of Israel is to be a co-prostitute, nor any of the sons of Israel be a co-prostitute. Do not bring the harlot fee of a whore or the pay of a dog to the house of Yah, your Elohim, for any vow offering. For both of these are an abomination to Yah, your Elohim. Do not lend an interest to your brother, interest of silver, interest of food, or interest of whatever is lent at interest. To the foreigner you lend at interest, but to your brother you do not lend at interest, so that Yah your Elohim might bless you in all that you put your hand to in the land which you are entering to possess. When you make a vow to Yah your Elohim, do not delay to pay it. For Yah your Elohim is certainly requiring it of you, and it shall be seen in you. But when you abstain from vowing, it is not seen in you. So you gotta make, if we make a vow, you gotta keep it though. It's better to not make a vow. It's better to not make a vow than to make a vow and not pay it. That's what it's saying. Verse 23. That which has gone from your lips, you shall guard and do. For you voluntarily vowed to Yah your Elohim what you have promised with your mouth. And when you come into your neighbor's vineyard, you shall eat to your satisfaction of your desire, but do not put any in a re, 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 resentful, resentful, resentful of yours. When you come into your neighbor's standing grain, you shall pluck the heads with your hand, but do not use a sickler on your neighbor's standing grain. Hallelujah. Mm. So this is showing you that clean and unclean laws right here. Though when we get back to that, it's showing these things about how if some of these things happen now, you're not supposed to be coming to the assembly of Yah. And it even tells you there's even certain nations that can't even be a part. So then what does that tell us right here? Hmm. All right, let's see what I got left. All right. Hmm. 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 Okay. Let's see. Hmm. Okay, so all right, so if we go to Isaiah 65, and the next one I'm gonna go to Isaiah 66, right after 65. So in Isaiah 65, I'm read the whole chapter for this one as well. And it reads, I have let myself be inquired of, not by those who asked. I was found not by those who sought me. I said, here I am, to a nation not calling on my name. I have held out my hands all day long to a stubborn people who walk in a way that is not good after their own thoughts. The people who provoke me continually to my face, who slaughter in gardens and burn incense on high places of brick, who sit among the bridal sites and spend the night in secret places, who eat flesh of pigs in the boat in the bloat in the boards of unclean meat is in their pots, who say, keep to yourself, do not come near me, for I am set apart to you. These are smoke in my nostrils, a fire that burns all day. See, it is written before me. I am not silent, but shall repay, and I shall repay until their bosom. Your your wickednesses and the wickednesses of your fathers together, said Yah, who burned incense on the mountain and reproached me on the hills, and I shall measure their former work into their blossom, into their bosom. My bad. Thus said Yah, as the new wine is found in the in the cluster, and one shall say, do not destroy it, for there is blessing in it. So I do for my servant's sake, not to destroy them all. And I shall bring forth a seed from Yaakov and from Yahudah, an heir of my mountain, and my chosen ones shall inherit it, and my servants dwell there. And Sharon shall be a fold of flocks in the valley of Achor, a place for herds to lie down, for my people who have sought me. But you are those who forsake Yah, who forget my set apart mountain, who prepare a table for Gad, and who filled a drink offering from many. And I shall allot you to the sword, and let you all bow down to the slaughter, because I called and you did not answer. I spoke and you did not hear, and you did evil before my eyes, and chose that in which I did not delight. Therefore, thus said the Master Yah, see my servants eat, but your hunger; see my servants drink, but you thirst; see my servants rejoice, but you are put to shame. See my servants sing for joy of heart, but you cry for sorrow of heart, and wail for breaking of spirit. And you shall leave your name as a curse to my chosen. For the Master Yah shall put you to death, and call his servants by another name, so that he who blesses himself in the earth does bless himself in the Elohim of truth. And he who swears in the earth does swear by the earth. I mean, does swear by the Elohim of truth, because the former distresses shall be forgotten, and because they shall be hidden from my eyes. For look, I am creating new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come to heart, but be glad and rejoice forever in what I create. For look, I create Jerusalem, a rejoicing, and her people a joy. And I shall rejoice in Jerusalem, and shall joy in my people, and let the voice of weeping no more be heard in her, nor the voice of crying. No more is an infant from there going to live but a few days, nor an old man who does not complete his days. For the youth dies 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be lightly esteemed. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and build vineyards and eat their fruit. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For the days of my people are going to be as the days of a tree, and my chosen ones outlive the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth children for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of Yah, and their offspring with them. And it shall be that before they call, I answer, and while they are still speaking, I hear. Wolf and lamb feed together, a lion eats straw as an ox, and dust is the snake's food. They shall do no evil, nor destroy in all my set apart mountain, said Yah. Hallelujah. Mm. Ooh, this, wow, this ain't a joke right here. I don't really have really anything to say for this chapter, really. Now let's go to chapter 66 of Isaiah in the whole chapter. And it reads, thus said Yah, the heavens are my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is this house that you built for me? And where is this place of my rest? In all these my hand has made, and all these that exist, declares Yah. Yet to such a one I look on him who is poor and bruised of spirit, and who trembles at my word. But whoever slays the bull strikes a man. Whoever slaughters the lamb breaks a dog's neck. Whoever brings a grain offering, pig's blood, whoever burns incense, blesses an idol. Indeed, they have chosen their own ways, and their being delights in their abominations. I shall also choose their punishment and bring their fears on them, because I called, but no one answered. I spoke, and they did not hear, and they did evil before my eyes, and chose what was displeasing to me. Hear the word of Yah, you who tremble at his word, your brothers who hate you, who cast you out for my name's sake, said, let Yah be esteemed, so that we see your joy. But they are put to shame. A roaring sound from the city, a voice from the Hakar, the voice of Yah, repaying his enemy. Before she labored, she gave birth. Before a pain coming to her, she was delivered of a male child. Who has heard the like of this? Who has seen the like of these? Is a land brought forth in one day? Is a nation born at once? Or as soon as the Zion labored, she gave birth to her children. Shall I bring to birth and not give delivery, says Yah? Shall I who give delivery restrain birth, said your Elohim? Rejoice with Jerusalem and be glad with her. All you who love her, rejoice greatly with her. All you who mourn for her, so that you feed and shall be satisfied with the breast of her comfort, so that you deeply drink and shall delight yourself in her overflowing esteem. For thus said Yah, see, I am extending peace to her like a river, in the esteem of the nations like a flowing stream. And you shall feed, you shall be carried on this side, and be fondled on her knees. As one whom his mother confronts, so I confront you. And in Jerusalem you are confronted, and you shall see, and your heart shall rejoice, and your bones flourish as tender grass. And the hand of Yah shall be known to his servant, and his displeasure to his enemy. For look, Yah comes with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his displeasure with burning, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword Yah shall judge all flesh, and the slain of Yah shall be many. Those who set themselves apart and cleanse themselves at the gardens after one in the midst, eating flesh of pigs, and the abomination in the mouth are snatched away together, declares Yah. And I, because of their works in their imaginations, am coming together all nations in tongues, and they shall come and see my esteem, and I shall set a sign among them, and shall send some of those who escape to the nation, Tarshish and Pool and Love, who draw the bow, and Tubal and Yahweh, the coastlands afar off, who have not heard my report, nor seen my esteem, and they shall declare my esteem among the nations, and they shall bring all your brothers as an offering to Yah out of all the nations, on horses and on chariots, and on leaders, on mules and on camels, to my set apart mountain, Jerusalem, declares Yah, as the children of Israel bring an offering in a clean vessel into the house of Yah. And from them too I shall take for priests, for Levites, declares Yah. Whereas the new heavens and the new earth, that I make stand before me, declares Yah. So your seed and your name shall stand. And it shall be that from new moon to new moon, and from Shabbat to Shabbat, all flesh shall come to worship before me, declares Yah. And they shall go forth and look upon the corpses of the men who had transgressed against me, for their worm shall not die, and their fire not be quenched, and they shall be repulsed to all flesh. Hallelujah. This is gonna be this is the scripture right here where the most high Yah is. This is gonna be where he judges us stuff. And who let me go to show you, he mainly judging those who are eating these unclean animals. So that's gonna be like one of the first things he judged. The most high Yah judges according to him, according to Isaiah 66. So yeah, after hearing all this, I hope that you have a change of heart, that you wanna get closer to the Most High Yah for your sake, because Yah does want a willing heart. That's what the Most High Yah. Okay. Hmm. All right. Let's see. Um, let's translation. Hmm. Let's see. Let's read the whole thing. Um, see, I got a few. I got a few. I got. Let's see. I think I may have one more scripture though after this though before I end this. Let's see. Should I read the whole thing? Yeah, let's do it. We'll read the whole thing here. Ezekiel Ezekiel 36, and it reads, "And you, son of man, prophesy to the mountains of Israel, and you shall say, O mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yah. Thus saith the master Yah, because the enemy has said of you, Aha, the heights of old have become our possession. Therefore prophesy, and you shall say, Thus saith the master Yah, because they lay you waste and swallow you up on every side, so that you bring the possession of the rest of the nation, and you are taken up by the lips of talkers and slandered by the people. And therefore, O mountains of Israel, hear the word of the master Yah. Thus said the master Yah to the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys, and to the desert, into the desert ruins, into the cities that have been forsaken, which became a prey and a mocking to the rest of the nations all around. Therefore, thus said the Master Yah, have I not spoken in my burning jealousy against the rest of the nations and against all Edom, who gave my land to themselves as a possession with all joy of heart, with scorn in their being, to drive it out for a prey. Therefore prophecy, therefore prophecy concerning the land of Israel, and you shall say to mountains, and to hills, to rivers, and to valleys, thus said the Master Yah, see, I have spoken in my jealousy, in my wrath, because you have borne the shame of the nation. Therefore, thus said the Master Yah, I have lifted my hand in an oath that the nations that are around you shall bear their own shame. And you, O mountains of Israel, put forth your branches and bear your fruit to my people Israel, for they are about to come. For look, I am for you, and I shall turn to you, and you shall be tilled and sown, and I shall increase men upon you, all the house of Israel, all of it, and the city shall be inhabited, and the ruins rebuilt, and I shall increase upon you man and beast, and they shall increase and bear young, and I shall make you inhabit as of old, and do better for you than at your beginning. And you shall know that I am Yah, and I shall let man, my people Israel, walk upon you, and let them possess you, and you shall be their inheritance, and no longer let you add to their ber- bereavement. Thus saith the Master Yah, because they say to you, you devour men and have devoured your nation. Therefore you shall no longer devour men and no longer berave your nation, declares the Master Yah. And no longer shall I let you hear the insults of the nations, in the reproach of the peoples you shall bring no more, and no longer cause your nations to stumble, declares the Master Yah. And the word of Yah came to me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwell in their own land, they defile it by their own ways and deeds. To me, their way was like the uncleanness of a woman in her monthly period. So I poured out my wrath on them for the blood they had shed on the land, and for their idols they defiled it. And I scattered them among the nations, and they were dis dispersed throughout the land. And excuse me, I have judged them according to their ways and their deeds. And when they come to the nations, whatever they want, they profane my set apart name for it. For it was said of them, these are the peoples of Israel, and yet they have gone out of his land. But I have had compassion on my set apart name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the nations wherever they went. Therefore say to the house of Israel, thus saith the Master Yah, I do not do this for your sake, O house of Israel, but for my set apart name's sake, which you have profaned among the nation, whatever you want. And I shall set apart my great name, which has been profaned among the nation, which you have profaned in their midst. And the nations shall know that I am Yah, declares the Master Yah, when I am set apart in you before their eyes. And I shall take you from among the nations, and I shall gather you out of all lands, and I shall bring you into your own land, and I shall sprinkle clean water on you, and you shall be clean from all your filthiness, and from all your idols I cleanse you. And I shall give you a new heart, and put a new spirit within you, and I shall take the heart of stone out of your flesh, and I shall give you a heart of flesh, and put my spirit within you, and I shall cause you to walk in my laws, and guard my right rulings, and shall do them. And you shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, and you shall be my people, and I shall be your Elohim, and I shall save you from all your uncleannesses, and I shall call for the grain and increase it, and I shall bring no scarcity of food upon you, or famine, and I shall increase the fruit of your trees, in the increase of your food of your fields, so that you need never again bear the reproach of scarcity of food among the nations. And you shall remember your evil ways in your deeds that were not good, and you shall loathe yourself in your own eyes for your for your wickednesses and your abominations. Not for your sake am I acting, declares the Master Yah. Let it be known to you. Be ashamed and blush for your ways, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Master Yah, on the day that I cleanse you from all your wickednesses, I shall cause these cities to be inhabited, and the ruined places shall be rebuilt. And the land that was laid waste, tilled, instead of being a ruin before the eyes of all who pass by. And they shall say, this land that was laid waste has become like the garden of Eden. In the waste, in the the desert, and the destroyed cities are now walled and inhabited. Then the nations which are left all around you, you shall know that I, Yah, have rebuilt the destroyed places and planted what was laid waste. I, Yah, has spoken, and I shall do it. Thus said the Master Yah. Once again I shall let the house of Israel inquire of me to do for them. I shall increase their man like a flock, as a set apart flock, as the flock at Jerusalem at her appointed time, so shall the waste cities be filled with flocks of me, and they shall know that I am Yah. Hallelujah. Well, we know we have not made it to that day yet. That's a future that's a future prophecy right there. And that he gonna cleanse us from our sins, the most high Yah. Isn't that what he's saying? Yep, the most high Yah did say he gonna clean on that day that he gonna cleanse us from our sin, from our wickednesses. Mm, man. Well, that day has not come yet, as adult. If we know that, we know that has not come. That is future, though. We haven't made it there yet. All right, so let's see. All right, so let's see. I might. This might be the last scripture that I'm getting ready to read. Easy. I will be back. All right. All right. So let's see. I want to see. Let me make sure. Hey, okay. Yeah. All right. In Ezekiel 44. Yeah, I think I'm gonna let this be my last place. Let's see. You want to read the whole chapter? Hmm. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's read the whole chapter. And I mean, excuse me, in Ezekiel 44, verse 1. And it says, and he brought me back to the inner into the outer gate of the set apart place, which faces east, and it was shut. And Yah said to me, this gate is shut, it is not open, and no one enters it, because Yah Elohim of Israel has entered by it, and it shall be shut. The prince, as prince, he sits in it to eat bread before Yah, coming in by way of the port of the gate, and going out the same way. And he brought me by way of the north gate to the front of the house. And I looked and saw the esteem of Yah filled the house of Yah. And I fell on my face. And Yah said to me, Son of man, set your heart and see with your eyes and hear with your ears all that I say to you concerning all the laws of the house of Israel and all its Torah. And you shall set your heart to the entrance of the house with all the exits of the set apart place, and shall say to the rebellious, to the house of Israel, thus saith the Master Yah, O house of Israel, enough of all these abominations of yours, that you brought in sons of a foreigner, uncircumcised in heart and uncircumcised in flesh, to be in my set apart place, to profane me, my house, and you brought near my food, the fat and the blood, and you broke my covenant because of all your abomination. And you did not guard the charge of that which is set apart to me, but you have set others to guard the charge of my set apart place for you. Thus said the Master Yah, No son of a foreigner, uncircumcised in heart or uncircumcised in flesh, comes into my set apart place. Even any son of a foreigner who is among the children of Israel. And the Levites who went far from me when Israel went astray, who strayed away from me after their idols, they still bear their wickedness, and they were attempted in my set apart place as gatekeepers of the house in attendance of the house, slain the the burnt offering and the slaughtering for the for the people, and standing before them to attend to them, because they attend to them before their idols and became a stumbling block of wickedness to the house of Israel. Therefore I have lifted my hand in an oath against them, declares the Master Yah, that they shall bear their wickedness and not come near me to serve as my priest, nor come near any of that which is set apart to me, nor into the most set apart place. And they shall bear their shame in their abominations which they have said. Yet I shall make them those who guard the duty of the house for all its work, and for all has to be done in it. But the priests, the Levites, the sons of Tisadok, who guarded the duty of my set apart place when the children of Israel went astray from it, they shall draw near to me to serve me, and shall stand before me to bring to me the fat and the blood, declares the Master Yah. They shall enter my set apart place, and they shall draw near to my table to serve me, and they shall guard my charge. And it shall be, when they enter the gates of the inner courtyard, that they put on linen garments, and no wool shall come upon them while they attend within the gates of the inner courtyard or within the house. They shall have linen tim- timber, turbans, turbans, my bad, on their heads, and linen trousers on their bodies. They shall not gird themselves with sweat. And when they go out to the outer courtyard, to the outer courtyard, to the people, they shall take off their garments in which they have attended, and shall leave them in the set apart room, and shall put on other garments, and they shall not set the people apart in their set apart garments. In their heads they shall not shave, nor shall they let their hair grow long. They shall keep their their hair well trimmed, and no priest is to drink wine when he comes into the inner courtyard. And they do not take as wife a widow or a divorced woman, but take maidens of the seed of the house of Israel, or widows of priests. And they are to teach my people the difference between the set apart and the profane, and make them know what is unclean and clean. And they are to stand as judges in a dispute, and judge it according to my right ruling. And they are to guard my Torah in my laws, in all my appointed time, and set apart my Shabbats. And they are not to defile themselves by coming near a dead man, only for a father or mother, for a son or daughter, for a brother or unmarried sister, they defile themselves. And after his cleansing, they count 7 days for himself. And on the day that he comes into the inner courtyard of the set apart place to attend in the set apart place, he brings his sin offering, declares the Master Yah. And it shall be to them for an inheritance. I am their inheritance. And you give them no possession in Israel. I am their possession. The grain offering and their sin offering and the guilt offering they are to eat, and all that is deducted in Israel is there. And the first of all, the first fruits of all, in every contribution of all your contributions belongs to the priest, and the priest of your ground meal you give to the priest, so that a blessing rests on your house. The priests are not to eat any bird or beast found dead or torn to pieces. Hallelujah. Okay. So what did we learn today then? Because this is a whole lot right here. Point to that we know what is unclean and clean, and learn about the clean and unclean laws. So just if anybody has any questions they want to ask concerning this, you are welcome to ask. Or even any other questions outside this topic, you can ask that too. Now, now don't mean I'm always gonna have the answers to every question, because I'm just a human being. Because I'm a human being, I don't know everything. So, but you all, whatever questions you ask, if I can't answer it, you gonna have to, I'm gonna have to tell you though. But if I can, I will though. I will answer them. Then I'll even show it to you in scripture. If I if I'm able to prove it. So I hope y'all enjoyed this though. And that we hope that we have better understanding of his clean and unclean laws. You know, I know it was like everything's like really strict, and we may not be in the land and all, but these laws do still apply today though. So let's not misunderstand that. While we may not have certain things though, but what we can do, we need to do it though. If we're saying we're serving Yah and we're serious about keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments. So yeah, hope everybody enjoyed this video now. And I say shalom.